Hi, Barry Feinstein again. Well, I'm going to tell you, it's very hard to imagine the terror that goes through an actor when he has to audition. And usually an actor will have to have a good 2, maybe 3 minute monologue at his disposal or her disposal. And you really have to have confidence, because one thing you're going to have to deal with is you don't know who's watching you. You don't know what they're looking for. And you might have to be rejected. And you don't want to beat yourself up or things like that. We all have our disappointments in life. The thing is to keep going, one foot in front of the other. And you want to see things as a challenge. And even though you're nervous and you're scared, which we all are, you keep going. You keep going. And if you drop a line here or there, you just keep going. You don't stop. And you trust that in time you'll get better and better on stage and better in life. Because the theater is a wonderful, holy place where you say an author's lines, and no matter what part you're playing, you have to embody it. And through the course of being on stage a lot, you develop empathy. You have to associate yourself and be the character. And know that it's a character, it's never you. So is you as if you were the character. And boy, learning to be empathetic and understanding is a task that takes a lifetime. And a lifetime in art as well. So I'm going to talk very briefly about memory. It's very hard to learn lines cold. But some people have a very good visual memory and they can learn the lines. But most people need to have something. They need to have direction. So as you get the opportunity to move across stage and sit down and take a glass of water here and do something else, you connect it with the lines. A lot of actors, they said, Barry, I got the whole script memorized, and when they got on the stage, they got blocks. But once they ran and got the blocking down, the movement of the piece, it's amazing how fast it comes. Now, when you're on stage, there's something very important regarding listening. You're never listening as yourself. You're listening as the character. And something else too, very important. You hear a line, and you know it's your cue. But you have to know it in such a way that it's like life. In life, I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. That's why I make a fool of myself a lot of times. But you cannot be thinking about your cue if you're going to be natural on stage. You have to be concentrating on what the other actor is saying to you, the other character is saying to you, and you have to get into that and respond naturally, truthfully, as the character. And the truthfulness is very much monitored by the director. He's going to tell you that's too loud, or it's too forceful, or you got to be softer, or directors, will do that. And the playwright has to hear his lines, and they have to have the kind of veracity that he intended. So it's all that goes into memory and being in the moment and doing the very best you can. Now, there are different kinds of memory. There's visual memory. You get a marker, you mark the script out. You put the direction on the corner, and that's all visual. Then there's auditory memory. You can put it on a tape recorder if you want, if that's the way you learn them. Always know where you are in space on the stage. Sinitra, by the way, who was here last week, what she does is she writes out all the lines. And that's how she remembers it. She's very visual and she's very tactile. But kinetic memory is very powerful. Once you move on a certain line, that's how you connect the kinetic movement with the memory. And you can never let the audience see your character fighting for the line or the cue. always has to be spontaneous. It really is the toughest part. Now, we're going to look at an audition. We'll talk about how to handle rejection after we see it. We got a very talented actress coming out. Okay, let's go. Next.
Hi, my name is Laura Malkus, and I am here to read for Lila in The Loss of Roses. I remember my first day of school. Mama took me by the hand, and I carried a bouquet of roses too. Mama let me pick the loveliest roses I could find. And teacher thanked me for them. But then Mama left, and I felt kind of scared because I had never been any place without her before. But she said teacher would be Mama to me at school, and she would treat me just as nice as she did. So I took my seat with the other kids, their faces so new and strange. And I started talking to a little boy across the aisle because I didn't know it was against the rules. Teacher came back and she slapped me so hard, I started to cry. And I ran to the door because I wanted to run home to Mama as fast as I could. But teacher grabbed me and she pulled me back to my seat. And she said I was too big a girl to go running home to Mama. And she said I had to learn to take my punishment when I broke the rules. But I still cried. And I told teacher I wanted back my roses. But she wouldn't give them to me. She said when I gave away lovely presents, I couldn't expect them to give them back. I guess I never really learned that lesson too well. There are so many things I still want back. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a seat. You're cast, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, there's a couple of things about the monologue. First of all, it's terrific. I'm so glad I got to direct you in a few plays.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you. We have to talk about the fourth wall. Can you tell us what that is?
Sure. The fourth wall is the wall between you and the audience.
Right. So who were you looking at when you were saying all that? Did you have somebody?
I was looking at my friend who was just there on the street with me.
Okay. That's very important. And how do you do that?
You imagine them there.
Sense memory. If everything on the stage is an illusion, it's all make-believe, you, the actress, the actor, has to create that reality. And when it happens on stage, well, you know this. You know, I once walked up, and I was directing an actor that's no longer with us, Mark Campion. And I walked up, he blew a couple of lines, and I walked up on the stage, and the electricity on the stage was so intense, I almost fainted. And when somebody is that involved, I've learned never to interrupt that actor again. We miss him greatly. So you look at your friend, you got to see them, maybe listen to them, and really concentrate on them. But if I were casting a role that you write for, I'd cast you in a minute.
Thank you.
New York minute.
Thank you.
So have you ever been rejected?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Oh, yes. Yes.
How did you deal with that?
Well, I think I deal with it better now that I'm older and have had some experience with it than I did when I was younger. I think that it's worth remembering when you are rejected that there are a lot of different factors that may or may not have anything to do with you, that have to do with the vision of the director, that have to do with your age, that have to do with your look, that have to do with who else is in the room or who else came into the room before you or after you. It may or may not be a judgment on your talent. It might just be who is right for that role at that time. So I mean, it always stings. It never stops stinging. But I do think that those thoughts help to remember.
I think one thing you have to look at, Laura, is when you get rejected, look at it as the experience. You gave it your all. They're all wrong. I should have been cast, but everybody makes mistakes, so I'll forgive them. And at the same time, say, I'm learning something. Everything I do is a learning experience. Every time I'm afraid, I have to deal with it, and you have to deal with the fear. And believe me, when an actor comes in auditions for me, I always know they're all nervous if they want the role.
Well, I think that you're right, and I think that the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. So anytime you have a chance to get into a room, I think that's a good thing, and you should do it. Also, there was a piece of advice that I was given that has helped a lot, which is to remember that everybody who's out there is rooting for you. They really want to see a wonderful audition.
They want to see the actor get cast and take all the director's worries away.
That's right. They want you to do well. Yeah. They're not sitting there trying to judge you or think bad things about you. They want to see you give a great audition. Nobody wants to sit there and see something that isn't wonderful. They want to see something wonderful from you. And so I never forget that everybody who's sitting there wants to see a fabulous thing. And that, I think, helps me too.
It does. But I think that everybody should have courage and be brave and face the winds, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think, it is important to know that everybody has times when they aren't cast. Yeah. Everybody has been rejected. Meryl Streep has been rejected.
Right.
Aren't they sorry now? Right. But literally everyone has not gotten the part once or twice.
You have to be brave and strong and handle it.
Yeah.
And it happens not only auditioning, it's in life.
Yep.
Life is full of disappointments and rejections. And you just have to believe in yourself. And that belief in yourself, it keeps growing to you till you finally end life. It's a constant struggle. But that struggle is so worth it. I want to ask you another question. You've been acting, I first directed you when you were about 15?
14, yeah.
14?
Yeah.
I saw your talent right away.
Thank you.
And that goes back a lot of years, 35 maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to ask you, and I know you're a mother now and you're happily married and you're a great person, by the way, you're one of my favorite people. But I want to ask you how theater has helped you, or what it's contributed to you.
Oh gosh. Well, theater is the one great true love of my life. It is from the time I was a very small child, even long before I met you. That was the only thing I ever wanted to do in my life. And I was fortunate to have a mother who took me to things.
Right, I remember. Yeah.
She would take me to everything, whether it was at a professional theater or at Spotlighters or anywhere, or here. She would take me to college shows. She would just take me to everything. So I got to see and feel and experience a lot from a very early age. And she would take me to things that were not even children's shows, just to be there and to feel it. And the first thing was that I couldn't imagine anything more fun in the entire world. It was just the most fun you could possibly have.
To be somebody else.
Well, all of it, the magic of it was just amazing. And so then I started to study it, and you had to learn to do the work, because there's the magic and everything, and then there's the work part.
Yeah.
And I think that is a turning point for a lot of people, or whether or not they want to do the work. Outside of the camaraderie and the purpose and the magic and the richness that just the art form has given me, which it has given me all of those things. It has made me flexible. It has made me intuitive. It has made me empathetic. In my professional career, I've done a lot of fundraising. And I think that being an actor is the best training you can get for doing that, because you have to empathize with the person that you're talking to.
Yes, you do.
And or being an advocate, or being a salesperson, or being any of those things that help you to understand what other people are thinking or wanting or feeling, respecting it, and then giving it back to them.
So there's a word we're looking for here: catharsis.
Yes.
We all walk around with so much emotion inside us. The theater is the place to release that feeling and find love, find real connection with people. You said it yourself. The society of people are all trying to find the right voice for the right character to make it all real.
That authentic connection, it's like a drug. It's
yeah.
like a straight.
I know. So I want to thank you, Laura, for coming on and sharing all this. And I love you.
Oh, thank you. I love you too. I tell everybody that you put me in my first show, ever. So that's just what a show it was, and what an incredible gift.
Oh.
What a truly incredible gift. And to find someone with whom, even at that young age, you respected the work. And this is something I've always just been incredibly grateful for about you in particular, and I don't think I've ever told you, but the way that you respect and nurture young people and young artists and value them and treat them as full artists with something to contribute is remarkable, and it has made a world of difference for me, made a world of difference for my brother, and I would argue probably a million other kids.
Well, I don't know about a million, but I hope I've contributed.
Well, I'm grateful.
So, everybody, thanks for watching. We got one more to go. And remember, acting is reacting truthfully within the imaginary circumstance. Bye.